What's up guys, and welcome to the very first episode of Club and Country. Man, am I excited to bring this back for FIFA 22. Yes, my first Club and Country of the new FIFA year, and if you've been on my channel for a while, you'll know all about this series and what it entails. If you're a new viewer to the channel, you might be wondering what Club and Country is. Well, the clue's in the name. It's a very simple concept. It's a career mode, it's an RTG. We start off with a lowly rated side and, well, again, the clue's in the name. We can only sign players that can play for the same country as the club. And in this year's Club and Country, I'm really excited for this one because we're going to be using Newport County of League 2. And whilst they play in the English Football League, they are a Welsh side, which means, of course, we'll only be able to sign and use players that are eligible to play for Wales in the game with Newport County at Rodney Parade. I'm so excited for this. They were actually the team I was going to use last season. In the end, I opted for Dynamo Dresden in Germany. But yeah, this year, I'm going to be using Wales now that they're a scouting and a youth nation, I should say you can youth scout, and I'm really excited, man. I was tempted to use Wrexham, as we know now under the ownership of Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney. What a weird timeline we're in right now. Of course, the non-league team have been added into FIFA this year and put in the rest of the world, but I know that the Master Bucks is doing a great Wrexham career mode right now, so I'm going to leave him to bring success to the racecourse ground, and I'm going to be using Newport County for this Club and Country. Now, Newport are a really interesting side to use as well, because over the past few years they've been on a bit of a roller coaster of emotions. Now, back in the 2016-2017 season, I think it was, they had possibly the greatest escape in Football League history. They were bottom of the Football League, bottom of League 2. I think they had 12 games to go and there were 11 points out of the safety positions. They brought in Michael Flynn to take over as manager, and they somehow managed to survive. One of the greatest escapes in Football League history. And since then as well, they've had some more memorable moments, particularly in the Cups. They dumped out Leicester City in the FA Cup many years ago. They've beaten teams in higher divisions to reach latter rounds of cup competitions. I think they reached the 5th round of the FA Cup not too long ago for the first time in about 70 years. So for a League 2 side, they've had a lot of memories over the past few years, plus 2 playoff finals in 3 years in League 2 as well. Unfortunately, just like last season, they came up short. Last season, they were beaten by Morecambe at Wembley in a 1-0 defeat in the playoff final. Now, just a few days ago, Michael Flynn decided to leave the club, so I thought now was the perfect time to take over. With Newport needing a new full-time manager, I've taken over Rodney Parade, and again, my ambition with Newport County is to take them from the very bottom, the League 2, all the way to the very top, the Premier League and European football at Rodney Parade as well, whilst only buying and using Welsh players. And again, also, the side sort of story of these Club and Countries is that we also take over the national team job and try and build the country up as well. So yeah, it's a pretty simple concept, but it is so fun to do. So I'm really excited, man. I can't wait. The problem with Newport County is they haven't really got many Welsh players. Despite being a Welsh club, the vast majority of their squad is English. I think they've got 5 Welsh players in their team, and 1 is currently on loan from Swansea City. As you can see, thankfully, as you inherit a few youth players at the start of every career mode now, there was 1 Welsh player in there. I think sometimes it's a bit weird how, like, certain players in Youth Academy, you inherit them now when you start a new career mode, come from all over the world. Like, we had like a Paraguayan talent in there, and sadly he was not called Felipe Marcano, but even so, only 1 Welsh player in our youth academy. We gave him a pro deal anyway because we need one. And also, youth scouting is going to be really prominent in this save as well. Now, Wales do have some okay, decent, half-decent players with decent potential for the future. There's Ben Capango, there's Joe Rodden, 2 very decent centre-halves. You've got Rabi Matondo, a few other names I'm forgetting as well, and they'll be okay. Nico Williams, if you will, too. But for the most part, we're going to need to get some decent players from the Youth Academy in order to make Wales the strongest nation in the world and Newport County the strongest team in the world as well. We're going to need a lot of players coming through the Youth Academy. So I hired a new youth scout with 2-star experience and 3-star judgment, 3-star experience and 2-star judgment. I don't think he'll pick up many decent players in the very first season, but at this point, what we need really is quantity over quality. We're in the lowest tier of English football in the game, in the 4th tier in League 2. So, you know, despite the fact we will be one of the lowest rated sides in the division, as we would have seen last year in my Call to Glory, say, because we are playing at such a low level, it shouldn't put us at that much of a disadvantage. But in the first season, the key is quite simple. Lay down the groundwork, get a full Welsh squad, take out all of the non-Welsh players in the team, and yeah, hopefully a few decent players to look out for the future. The first season really, again, is all about laying down the groundwork. So as you would have seen, I put basically the vast majority of my team on the transfer list. Again, there's only like 5 players here that are Welsh, so everyone else needs to go. We're not going to be able to sell them for very big fees because they are, of course, higher, of course, lowly rated, many of which in their late 20s and also early 30s as well. So we won't get too much money for this. We started with a budget around £1 million, but after selling a lot of our first team squad here, you would see that raised our budget to around £3.25 million, possibly 3.5 with wage budget alterations. But as for new signings with Newport County, I just basically got as many young Welsh players that don't have too high of an overall and just shoved them all on the shortlist. Scouted as many as I could and put as many as I could on the shortlist as well. Now, there are a couple that I would like to sign, one of which is the young Wolves player Kem Campbell. But you will notice that some of these players won't be willing to relocate or take a step down to Rodney Parade in League 2. So the most important thing really is just making sure we get as many bodies in as possible in the first season. So looking for the cheapest players and really not worrying too much about their overall. So the first player was Jewett from Pompey. We also signed Jack Madeline from Wimbledon as well. We were noticing quite a lot of these deals is I'm also including some swap deals as well, so putting players, offering players out to these clubs, plus some money in exchange for one of their players. You would have seen there we sold one of our strikers to Wimbledon to bring in our new man. Ed Upson was part of this deal with Shrewsbury Town here to sign a striker. Caton, Sam Bowen from Cardiff City was the latest guy I was going after here. We got him for valuation £325,000. So yeah, really the first season, and particularly the first summer transfer window, is just all about bringing enough players in to give us a full Welsh squad. Because at the moment, well, to start off with, we only had 5 players. The latest of which was this guy, Tivonge. He looks really good, to be fair. This is a young Swansea fullback. Looks like a pretty decent player for the future. Only 56 overall, but at 18 years old, he could definitely grow quite nicely in the future, I feel, with some first team exposure. So a couple of players there added to our team, and there you go. On the back of those signings there, we now had a full Welsh first 11. So our goalkeeper out of the academy, and then the back 5 as well. Jewett White, Cooper, who's on loan from Swansea, and then Livermore and Collins on the wings with Caton up top. Now, as you can see here, it's a pretty poor team. We only have one player that's over 60 overall. So, of course, after spending around £750,000 on those players there is going to be a long way to go with this Newport County team. But again, before the very first game of the season, I just needed a full Welsh first 11 and bench to make sure we could play those games and get started with the season. So after I sold a centre back there called James Clark, I did decide to go after this guy who has some actual first team quality and is not just here to make up the numbers. It's Brandon Cooper at Swansea City, 62 overall, which will make him a joint highest rated player in the team at just 21 years old. And he was actually on loan at Newport County last season, part of their team that missed out on promotion to League 1 via the playoff final. We got him for £610,000. I don't know what it is, but I just think this guy could definitely be captain in this team. Again, 21 years old, 62 overall, should have some okay potential. And yeah, coming back to Rodney Parade, I don't know why, but I think I'm probably going to make him captain to begin with this season. We signed a new goalkeeper as well, Lewis Webb. Obviously got one young goalkeeper out of the academy, but I want someone a little bit better that might have slightly higher potential. And also Kieran Evans from Cardiff City as well, 55 overall, £230,000 was the transfer fee we paid for him. And I think I made a couple more signings as well. Oh yeah, this guy here, who's fair, looks pretty decent. Terry Taylor, 20 years old, 62 overall from Burton Albion. Managed to pick up on a 5-year, £1.5 a week deal. The other players we signed were Luca Hall from Bristol Rovers as well. Fortunately, as you can see, we did a straight swap deal for Joe Day, our goalkeeper, who's English, so of course we can't use him, and also signed him on a 5-year contract as well. And the other 2 players I signed were Tom Pugh of Scunthorpe United, 57 overall, 20 years old. Once again, you'll see, just like our last signing, this was a straight swap deal, which is absolutely perfect for us. We can't sell these players, players. Swapping them is the best thing, and not paying a transfer fee as well. He might be a CM by trade, but I think I'm going to retrain this guy to play on the wing. And our final signing we picked up of what was an incredibly busy window was Oliver Denim of Cardiff City. 19 years old, also signs a 5-year deal. And that was that. £1 million remaining in the budget after all of those signings. And there we go. Finally, we have ourselves a fully Welsh first 11 and bench. I think I made 12 signings in the end with Newport County, 12 new players coming in. We have that full first 11 and bench, all Welsh as well. And that means we can begin the season with the very first game, not needing to forfeit it as we have a full Welsh side, and I'm buzzing with that. As for our first scouting update of the season, well, our scout did pick up someone that could be alright, Tony Matthews. Also put the other guys in the academy as well, apart from Michael Pearson, who remains in our scouting update for now. But again, the youth players are going to be really, really important in this series because, again, as I mentioned earlier, there are some decent young Welsh players, but no one with like star power, if you will, for the future in the game with really, really high potential. So what we need is our scouts to do us a favour and pick us up some really decent young players, not just for the first season with Newport County to go in our first 11, but also as well for the future with the club and the country as well. So yeah, I will be heavily focusing on youth players in this series. So if you like long RTGs with loads and loads of player development, a really big challenge and lots of youth players as well, then this is definitely the series for you, man. 'Cause this is going to take a long, long time to build Newport County up to a really, really awesome side, and also developing the nation as well as the club as well. So we changed the position here of a couple of our players, and also for the best one of the lot, 61 rated Tony Matthews. I was going to give him a pro deal straight away, and then I realised he's 15 years old, so he's good enough right now to be in our first 11, but too young to sign a pro contract. But he looks really good indeed. I'll train him to a left wing back as opposed to a right wing back. That will get his attacking work rate up, and as he is a left-footed player, he'll be better operating on that side. So this is the team we have for now. As you can see, there are still a few players that are non-Welsh in this team, so in the next episode, and whilst we still have the summer transfer window to play through, I'll be trying to sell those guys and get those guys out of the clubs to make our full team fully Welsh with no exceptions whatsoever. But as I run you through the squad here again, it's incredibly lowly rated. I will probably say right now it's the lowest rated team in League 2. But when you look at it, the best thing is this. There's a lot of young talent here. Most of our players, and well, basically all of our Welsh players we signed are incredibly young, either in their very early 20s or teenage talents themselves. So it's an incredibly youthful team. We've got a full Welsh first 11 and bench as well. This is going to be incredibly long RTG, but I'm really looking forward to the challenge. That will end today's episode of Club and Country, guys. A big thank you for watching the first one. Really hope you have enjoyed it. And if you have, then please do drop a like. Most love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you for the next episode of Club and Country, featuring our first games with Newport County very soon.